This is Datila with Rangers of Wrestling, bringing the Wrestling Time Push. And for tonight, I will be reviewing Monday Night Raw. Alright, so let's talk about that Austin Theory switch. He totally snapped on tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. He cut a promo backstage talking about how nobody understands him or the pressure that he's under. And he says that nobody has an idea what the full story is. He exceeded the expectation and became the face of the franchise. And the whole world wants to see him fail. But yet he feels more alive than ever, and that the briefcase was more of an anchor for Theory. He starts to talk about how no one's been able to touch Roman. And he goes and he reviews his attempted cash-ins about how Tyson Fury was there. And he says that even if Tyson Fury wasn't there, the bloodline would have been there. He said the bloodline would have stopped him from cashing in on Roman. So in that scenario, the cashing in does not exist. So Ziggler interrupts him, and it basically leads to a match between the two. So the match was actually a good match. Like, it was a good match. I was enjoying it. Like, the back and forth, like Dolph Ziggler hitting Austin Theory with the zigzag, or Austin Theory hitting multiple 8-count downs on Ziggler throughout the match. But it wasn't enough. Like, he sent poor Dolph Ziggler 3 times shoulder first into the ring post. And it took a lot. But Dolph Ziggler ended up winning this by disqualification because Austin Theory ended up snapping. Like, at one point, he just sent Dolph Ziggler crashing into the steel steps. He bounced him off the off the announce table. You know, and like the ref had to ring the bell, so the Austin Theory lost. And like backstage personnel came out and separated Theory from Dolph Ziggler. That wasn't all that he did, though. After the main event, which was Finn Balor versus Seth Freakin Rollins for the United States title, Austin Theory came out. He attacked Rollins. He hit him with the 8-count down, and he lifted up the title, the United States title. So, looking at everything, I really like that promo that Austin Theory did. The explanation makes sense. It makes sense as to why he did not cash in on Roman, but he still had other people to cash in. He could have cashed in on Braun Breaker, you know, but he cashed in on Seth Rollins and he failed. So he just adds to the list of all the people that have failed to cash in, like Baron Corbin said, all led by John Cena. And I'm actually kind of liking this Baron Corbin switched. I mean, I think he needed a character change, and I'm liking where this is going. He basically just snapped. He took his anger out on Dolph Ziggler, and he attacked Seth Rollins. And honestly, this is a character change that he needed. So, with that being said, let's start this review from the beginning. So Monday Night Raw opened up with a Seth Freakin Rollins promo, and he was talking about how he's a revolutionary, a visionary, and he welcomes people to Monday Night Rollins. He was talking about how by the hair on his chinny chin chin, he's still U.S. champion, and that last week was crazy and wild because Finn Balor, Mustafa Ali, Austin Theory, and Bobby Lashley all came after him wanting an opportunity at the U.S. title. And he's when he talks about Theory, he says that Austin Theory daring to cash in on him, and the crowd starts chanting, "That was stupid." And it was stupid. It was a stupid cash in because it was an open challenge. There's no reason why Austin Theory needed to cash in his Money in the Bank to challenge Seth Rollins. It was an open challenge. He could have easily just accepted the open challenge. But anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. Like, that this is stupid chance. And so Rollins basically says that he's going to make the United States title the top prize of Monday nights. And he's going to go one-on-one with Finn Balor. And so Bobby Lashley interrupts this. And he starts to say that last week he turned Selfie Boy, referring to Austin Theory, into a punchline. And the beating's going to continue until Bobby Lashley gets his title back. So I like that Seth Rollins, he does an impersonation of Paul Heyman. He's like, Brock Lesnar. And then Mustafa Ali comes out to try to plead a case And Lashley basically warns Mustafa Ali to use his head and make smart decisions. And Lashley attacks Mustafa Ali as he enters the ring, and Mustafa Ali came swinging at him. So this leads into the opening contest, which is Mustafa Ali versus Bobby Lashley. And I did not like this in a sense because I felt like Mustafa Ali just looked totally bad. I mean, he tried hitting Bobby Lashley with the dropkick as soon as the bell rang, but Bobby Lashley pretty much was tossing Mustafa Ali around like a rag doll. And yeah, he did hit him with Mustafa Ali did hit Bobby Lashley with the tornado DDT, but that spear looked brutal. And Lashley ended up putting Mustafa Ali into the Hurt Lock. Mustafa Ali did not tap out. So I like the fact that he didn't tap out, but I just don't like this look for Mustafa Ali. It felt like a complete 180. I mean, he was on a roll like a couple weeks ago and he was looking good. Now I feel like he's just back to being what he once was, a jobber. So I don't know what they're doing with Mustafa Ali, but I didn't like it. So after this, we get a Mia Yim and OC segment. And they're talking about how now that the odds are even and they solve their Rhea problems, Carl Anderson calls Mia Michin, which is a nickname. And Doc Gallows takes credit for Mia teaming up with them because he's got away with the ladies. So this is the part where I was a little confused at. So AJ Styles ended up challenging Finn Balor to a match at Survivor Series. And all four of them two sweet each other. And then after this is Mia's big return match. So I told myself, like, what was the point of bringing in Mia Yim, having her align herself with the OC? We were just going to get a one-on-one match. We were just going to get Finn Balor versus AJ Styles. I wanted an 8-person tag match. I thought it was going to be Mia Yim and the OC versus Judgment Day at Survivor Series, but that's clearly not happening. And it makes, I guess, it's because they needed people to fill in the women's War Games match, which ended up being Mia Yim and Rhea Ripley. So we're not getting an 8-person tag match. And with this segment, AJ Styles says that this is gonna all end at Survivor Series. So, well, again, we're not getting that 8-person tag match, I guess. But this leads into Mia Yim versus Tamina. And Rhea Ripley and Dominik come out to watch the match. No, and they're not the only ones watching the match either. Damage Control is also watching the match. Mia Yim wins using the Eat the Feet, and Rhea attempts to step to Mia, but she backs down and says Mia's not worth her time. So this match I was not a fan of this match. I didn't really care for this match. This whole purpose of this match was just Mia to get a big win on her big match back. But I just wasn't a fan of it. So then we get a Matt Riddle segment who he's like backstage and they ask him where Elias is. And he's pretty much talking about how Elias is probably off doing big rock star things for their band. Well, Matt Riddle's going to take care of Chad Gable. And then, of course, Alpha Academy shows up and they shush Matt Riddle. They get into the hush bro bong war until Chad Gable's had enough. And that the only thing more ridiculous than these two clowns in the band is them as a tag team. He's going to put Matt Riddle down tonight. So after this, Mia Yim's like walking backstage and Damage Control rolls up and they talk about how impressed they are with her. And they wonder how someone as talented as her could be forgotten so long. They know what it's like to be cast aside and forgotten. And they decided to do something about it. Riddle is Ricky Ricardo with the bongos, I swear. He's not Cuban though. It's not Cuban, but I see what you mean. And so they tell her that she needs to remind people who she is and what she can do with Damage Control. And Mia says she's not interested and has a bit of a face-off with Iyo Sky when OC roll up with some brewskis and Damage Control leaves. So I guess that's the reason why we're not getting an 8-person tag match. It's very serious because they needed to fill in those War Game spots. And there you go. Mia Yim's going to fill in the War Game spot. So after this, we get a Chad Gable versus Matt Riddle. And this was actually a good match. I was actually really enjoying this match. I really was. Of course, Otis played a factor into this. He tried to cause a distraction, which allowed Chad Gable to hit Matt Riddle with the release German suplex from the top rope. Now, Matt Riddle had knocked Otis down, but Chad Gable did the backside to Matt Riddle, and Otis. This show was catering to a catering jobber show. I guess you can say that. And so Otis held onto Gable's feet, allowing Chad Gable to pick up the victory here. And now Otis last week defeats Elias, and so this week Chad Gable defeats Matt Riddle. What's next, player? Tag team match, holla. So we're going to probably get that tag match next. But yeah, well, I wonder why Elias was in on tonight's episode of Raw. But overall, I did like that match. All right, welcome to Monday Night Catering MNC. All right, so then we get Baron Corbin and the JBL segment. They're playing poker backstage. And Akira Tozawa joins in on them playing poker. And he says he doesn't know how to. And JBL says that his money is welcome there. So I have to say, this poker segment was kind of reminiscent of when the APA used to play cards backstage. I don't know if that was what they were going for. The only thing missing was they needed the little door outline. That was hilarious. When APA would get mad when somebody would go around instead of going through the door. But later on in the night, Akira Tozawa accuses Baron Corbin of cheating, and JBL says those are fighting words, which leads into Baron Corbin versus Akira Tozawa. But that's later on in the night. So after this segment, we get a Miz TV segment. Miz coming out looking like he's freaking Mr. Rogers' neighborhood or a grandpa with those glasses and that cardigan. I don't know what he was thinking wearing that. They tried to recapture the APA, and they felt, yeah, that is true. So Miz starts talking about how he regrets paying Loomis, and that all he ever wanted was empathy. That he's never been injured, he's never called a day off, and that when he has gotten injured, he still shows up to work. He says he's never got injured, and Loomis kept taking, and he had to put a stop to it. And he thought he was putting on a performance for the undercover agent. And in a real city like Hollywood, a beautiful day in the Mizborhood. It's a beautiful day in the Mizborhood. A beautiful day in the Mizborhood. Oh, yeah, it's hilarious. He starts talking about how he's a devoted father and a loving husband. And of course, Johnny Gargano interrupts this. And Miz turns the tables on Gargano, actually, and accuses Johnny Gargano of using the Miz's story to try to get people to chant for Johnny Wrestling. And the people do start chanting Johnny Wrestling. So Gargano basically says the Miz is a compulsive liar, which we all know. And he says he lies about everything, starting with the sweater. And yes, they say how everyone is ready to move on. Yes, we're ready to move on from this segment. They've said what we've all thought. We're ready to move on from this segment, from this storyline. And Johnny Gargano says that in 2 weeks, it all ends when the Miz once again faces Dexter Lumis. And if Dexter Lumis wins, Miz has to pay him everything that he is owed, and Dexter Lumis gets a contract. And so Dexter Lumis appears and chases Miz away. Thank goodness this storyline is ending in 2 weeks. And we can move on from here, because I honestly feel like Tommaso Ciampa was supposed to be involved in this storyline in some capacity, which is why Johnny Gargano was originally included. At least that's what I think. But then Tommaso Ciampa ended up getting injured, and they had to keep moving forward. At least that's what I think. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think Tommaso Ciampa was originally supposed to be in this storyline? Because remember, Miz and Ciampa were teaming up with each other, and it kind of seemed like they were hinting at Gargano and Ciampa. But again, Tommaso Ciampa did get injured, so we just had to move on with the storyline. We get a Dominik segment. Well, I should say Shelton Benjamin because it starts off with Shelton Benjamin. And Dominik challenges Shelton Benjamin to a match. And Damian Priest steps to Shelton Benjamin, but Benjamin tells him he accepts Dominik's challenge, not Priest's challenge. Dominik saying he was going to be better than his deadbeat dad and Guerrero when they were in their primes. So this leads into Dominik, Mysterio versus Shelton Benjamin. And of course, because all we need is Maurice to be Mrs. Lady Aberlin. Gargano could be Chuck Aber. Dexter Lumis could have been Mr. McFreely. And if you get the Mr. Rogers reference, yeah, I do. So, in this match, Dominik attempts to Three Amigos, which, is supposed to pay homage to Eddie Guerrero. But Shelton Benjamin counters with the suplex. Of course, Rhea Ripley gets involved in this, and Damian Priest pulls Dominik to the apron. Dominik with the frog splash to end the match, and this match just proves how weak Dominik is, that he needed the help. Yeah, it does, kind of. It honestly does. But, before I start going any further, I just want to say, with yesterday being the 17th anniversary of Eddie Guerrero's passing, it doesn't surprise me that Dominik attempted to do the Three Amigos or a frog splash, so it's been 17 years since his passed, and he still hasn't been forgotten. Multiple wrestlers still do the frog splash, and on occasion still attempt to do the Three Amigos, so it just goes to show you that Eddie Guerrero's influence and legacy continues to live on, even though he's been gone nearly 17 years. So, but I wasn't a huge fan of this match. Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest helping Dominik, I don't think that's a good sign. I get that they're heels, but you shouldn't need that much help. And then this is where the Austin Theory comes into play. I already talked about this, but I'll go ahead and recap. He's basically cutting a promo talking about how nobody understands him or understands the pressure that he's under, and that nobody knows the full story. He talks about how Roman is untouchable, that he goes over the fact that he attempted to cash in multiple times, and he said the bloodline was always there. So a scenario where Theory cashed in on Roman does not exist, because no matter what, the bloodline was always going to stop him. And so Dolph Ziggler interrupts. And Ziggler basically says he was there for the worst cash in. So, Austin Theory joining the list of people who have failed to cash in. And he says he would love to prove to Ziggler that he has no more excuses. So, but I really like that promo by Austin Theory. I really did. I think that was a really good promo. And that's the Austin Theory we should have been getting from the get-go. So then we get Iyo Sky versus Dana Brooke, which did nothing for me. Dana Brooke immediately went after Iyo Sky because she's upset that Nikki Cross pretty much threw the 24/7 title into the trash. Dana Brooke worked really hard to try to legitimize that title, but she failed at doing that. And I know how much that title means to her, but that title we needed to get rid of that title, and we already did. So Iyo Sky basically wins this with the over the moonsault to Dana Brooke. And then Mia Yim comes out, and she says that she's picked her side, and she's pretty much picked Team Bianca. So Team Bianca still has one spot open. So I wonder who would be on Team Bianca. Could it be a returning Becky Lynch? Maybe a returning Beth Phoenix? Who do you guys think is going to take up the last spot on Team Bianca? And then we get Austin Theory versus Dolph Ziggler, which actually was a good match. Let me see. She's insane getting mad about the 24/7 championship getting retired. Only she will miss it, not anybody else. That is true. We got Austin Theory versus Dolph Ziggler, and this was a really good match. I enjoyed this. One of the things that I noticed right off the bat was that Austin Theory did not come out with his cell phone. Like, normally he would comes out with his cell phone taking selfies. No, like, he came out, like, it's either going to be Becky or Beth. I'm leaning towards Beth. Oh, either one of those choices makes sense. He meant business. Like, Austin Theory meant business. He just came out, and he was all mad, and, again, no selfie, no camera. Both men were wearing camo. I don't know why, but they were both wearing camo. Like, he clotheslined Dolph Ziggler, threw Dolph Ziggler. He threw him like 3 times into the ring post, going shoulder first. Ziggler did the same thing to Austin Theory. He hit him. He threw him shoulder first into the ring post. It wasn't 3 times, though. He hit multiple 8-count downs to Dolph Ziggler, but this match was not over. It took a lot. You know, I really like the aggressiveness that Austin Theory was displaying in this match. I think he needed this change. So, when this match goes to the outside, Austin Theory sends Dolph Ziggler into steel steps and then bounces him off the announce table. And he's just taking his anger out on Dolph Ziggler. The ref rings the bell, so Dolph Ziggler wins this match by DQ. And personnel come out. They separate Theory from Ziggler. And, man, I'm really liking this new Austin Theory. I think we can go somewhere with her. So after this, Rhea offers to join Damage Control. And she says that she wants to go to Raw. She says that she's joining them because Mia Yim is on Team Bianca. So at least, so that means Damage Control's team is all filled up. All the spots have been filled. Now we just got to fill out Team Bianca. This leads into Akira Tozawa versus Baron Corbin. Oh, actually, let me backtrack a little bit. So I told you guys, that's the reason why I'm not getting the 8-person tag match, because Rhea Ripley and Mia Yim are being used for the War Games match. So again, Akira Tozawa versus Baron Corbin, which this match surprised me because Akira Tozawa was actually getting offense in. Like, he was taking it to Baron Corbin. We haven't seen Akira Tozawa in a while. But dang, I was impressed with him. Like, he was really taking it to Baron Corbin. But it wasn't meant to be. Baron Corbin at the end caught Akira Tozawa and he hit him at the end of day. So Baron Corbin was victorious in this. But you know, I don't know if you guys realize this. I just looking back at my notes, I just started to realize this. We saw Tamina, we saw Dana Brooke, and we saw Akira Tozawa. All 3 were part of the 24/7 titles picture. All we're missing is Reggie. You know, and Reggie himself is not bad. He's actually pretty talented, especially because he's a former Circus Soleil star. But with the right booking, I'm sure he can be even better. But we haven't seen Reggie in a while. So the fact that we got these 3, I wonder if next week, with it being the go-home show to Survivor Series, if we're actually going to get Reggie now. We're just missing Reggie. And we've seen all the 24/7 scene. All 3 catering jobbers. Yeah, I guess catering was closed. So we find out after this match that there's going to be next week, and 1 member from each team will compete to get the advantage at War Games. And Bianca says that those girls are about games and they're about war. Please don't give him ideas. We don't need to see him. Oh, okay. Sorry. So then we get we got like 3 backstage segments before the main event. That was the first one. The second one was just Chad Gable suggesting that maybe now Elias and Riddle might form a team. And then Seth Rollins appears laughing with them. And then after that, we get a Finn Balor one saying that he pretty much accepts AJ Styles' challenge for Survivor Series. And that if AJ Styles wants to see what he's capable of, he should ask Edge and Rey Mysterio, and that tonight he will become the new U.S. champion. Again, I'm so disappointed that we did not get an 8-person tag. If not, what was the point of evening the odds? Like, unless Judgment Day and the OC and Mia Yim are going to be by ringside. But based on the graphic, it kind of seems that way. So we get the United States Championship match, Finn Balor versus Seth freaking Rollins. And they actually referenced SummerSlam 2016, which is where Finn Balor and Finn Balor and Seth Rollins actually met. You know, they had a match to determine who was going to be the first ever Universal Champion, which was a match that Finn Balor actually won. But Seth Rollins injured him in this match after he did a buckle bomb on the barricade. Which, ironically enough, Seth Rollins actually attempted to do the buckle bomb to Finn Balor during this match, but that did not go. Instead, Finn Balor countered with a dropkick into the turnbuckle. So this was a good match. Like I said, this was a really good match. Rollins with the crossbody to the outside to Finn Balor. Finn Balor sending Rollins to the corner in the announce table. That looked bad. That knee to the spine of Finn Balor, followed by the suicide dive, was actually pretty cool. Very good main event. It was 6 years later. Yeah, definitely this was 6 years in the making. Oh my god, like, I'm so glad Seth Rollins did not do that buckle bomb. I would have been worried for Finn Balor if Seth Rollins did that buckle bomb on the barricade. So after the Falcon Arrow to Finn Balor, Judgment Day came on. They caused a distraction. And Finn Balor did the double stomp to Seth Rollins. The OC came out and attacked Judgment Day. Ooh, Damian Priest at one spot. I know this wasn't part of the match, but Damian Priest sending Carl Anderson over the announce table. Styles pushing Finn Balor off the top rope, allowing Seth Rollins to stomp Balor. So Seth Rollins was victorious in this match. Again, good main event. And then you can see like Styles and Doc Gallows fighting Priest and Dominik towards the crowd. And meanwhile, while that's happening, Austin Theory comes on. He attacks Seth Rollins. He hits him with the A-Town down. And then he hits Seth Rollins with his own title. And he lifts up the title. And that is how Monday Night Raw comes to a close. And wow. Like I said, I really like this change in Austin Theory. I think we can get somewhere with this character. But overall, tonight's Raw was, wow. I don't even know where to start with tonight's Raw. Didn't really like the Mia Yim. I was not a fan of Mia Yim versus Tamina. Very boring show, NyQuil inducing. Even coffee didn't help me get to the show. Now, how do you do it? How do you just do it to stay up so late and then review the show? So we had a lot of like segments, which I get it that they were supposed to do so to help a Survivor Series. Next week being the go home show, I hope it's a much better. I did like Chad Gable versus Matt Riddle. I wasn't a fan of the Corbin JBL segment. Austin Theory, big fan of his promo and his character change. Akira Tozawa surprised me. The main event was really good. Iyo Sky versus Dana Brooke did nothing for me, just like Mia Yim versus Tamina didn't do nothing for me. I'm going to give tonight's Raw a 6 out of 10, just because there were some good things of tonight's show, but there was also some bad things. Mind you, we are building to Survivor Series, so let me see. Focusing on the good and the bad things in the show. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, so overall 6 out of 10. But with that being said, that concludes the Monday Night Raw review. So I did finally finish filming my unboxing of the Lord Draken helmet. So that should be out tomorrow, if not the latest Thursday, but I'm going to do my best to have it out tomorrow. And then I also did buy the Lightning Collection Dragon Dagger. And I just got notified that it was shipped out. So when it arrives, I'll keep you guys posted, and I'll definitely will do an unboxing of that. But if you haven't done so, you can feel free to check out some of my other unboxing content. I did the Lightning Collection Pink Power Morpher, Lightning Collection Yellow Power Morpher, and I recently did the Lightning Collection Lord Zed helmet, which has a voice changer. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys all so much for watching and for your continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday after Dynamite. Bye!